Yes, sir. We are back here at Off the Chest on October 28th, 2024. We are doing our weekly show right now. So we are right in the middle of everything right now that's going on in the world of sports and in the world beyond sports. Z-Man, how you doing, bud?
Hi, Joe Cap. Happy pre-trick or treat Halloween.
Yes, that's right.
Dude, what's your favorite candy?
Oh, my God. My favorite candy. I can't believe you asked me this question because I got an answer for you.
Well, because I like, I don't really like candy, but
Yes.
I like candy.
All right. This is my favorite.
Okay.
Baby Ruth bars, when I remember, was like the golden, ticket of chocolate bars. And I don't even really see them that much around, but I remember Baby Ruth bars being like, oh man, crunchy and chewy and everything. And I remember getting a Baby Ruth bar before they had these energy bars, okay? When I got my first job, graduated from Oswego, working in Manhattan. I would go down 3 o'clock, down to the corner guy, the newspaper stand. I don't know if they still have them anymore, and get me a nice big Baby Ruth bar around 3 o'clock.
What is Baby Ruth bar? What's in a Baby Ruth bar? I'm serious.
All right.
I don't even know if I've ever had one.
It's great. It's got caramel. It's got peanuts. It's got chocolate. It's got nougat, whatever that nougat stuff is in there. And it's just a great bar. I think it is. My second favorite is probably Snickers, because Snickers is around more. You've got Snickers all over the place, and that's pretty good too. But the Baby Ruth bar to me is the king. It's the king of chocolate bar candy in my book.
My go-to, Joe, is Snickers. You know why?
There you go.
Because if the people are listening, whoever makes Snickers, D-Man says Snickers satisfies.
Yep.
It's like you could have a Snickers bar for breakfast.
Yeah.
Lunch. It doesn't matter. It's got the peanuts in there.
Yep.
With the chocolate. And it's like you eat it. It's like I know it's a candy bar and people are listening and they're like, what are you, out of your mind? But it's got that energy. It's got I know it's a sugar rush.
I totally agree. And to me,
it's you can have one of those if lunch. You're busy and you're like, oh man, I didn't have lunch today.
It's
it's
the original Power Bar. It's the original Power Bar. And and
that's a really good point, Joe. I like that.
Yeah, it's the little brother to the Baby Ruth in my book, but it is the original Power Bar. Now they got all these Power Bars, these Cliff Bars, and also with all this other stuff. It's the same shit. It's the same shit.
And I don't know if I my backup. What would I have for a backup? You know what?
Maybe Milky Way. Milky Way's another good one.
Milky Ways are good. I like M&Ms.
Oh, peanut M&Ms are my top of my list too. So peanut M&Ms.
Peanut M&Ms. Would be something I would go to. You know what, Joe? That's a really good idea. Hey, Off the Chest 84 at yahoo.com. Off the Chest 84 at yahoo.com. For people that are listening, we're in the Halloween week. You're going to be able to hear this on or before Halloween. Send us a note. Off the Chest 84 at yahoo.com. I'm just curious. I know that I'm missing a lot. And you know what? I was thinking about those Baby Ruths. You know when you go into the supermarket and you buy the big bag?
Yeah, the big Halloween bag, the family pack.
In there. Baby Ruth are still in there.
They're still around. Yeah, let's hear what's your favorite.
You know what, Joe? I kid you not, man. I sincerely mean this. I kid you not. I'm going to try a Baby Ruth this week. I am. And so next week when we get back together, I'm going to give a dissertation.
Absolutely.
On Babe Ruth candy bar.
You got it, Z-Man. I will remember that for next show. So
what else is going on?
Let's start off with the NFL. Obviously, we are in prime NFL season. I'm just going to put a black bow around the Jets as far as what they have done. And the disappointment has gotten to the utmost highest point where last year when Aaron Rodgers blew out his Achilles, I thought that was the lowest point of Jets, in the modern era, or the last few years. And this weekend, it went right beyond it, below that. And I think that right now the Jets are in a free fall. This is another decade of horror that will just be part of the Jets. The Jets cannot recover from this, and they will take another decade. This is a decade of
Joe,
horror that will be coming up.
They have a 41-year-old quarterback.
Yeah.
Who's coming off of a major injury, an Achilles injury. Like, just in life, think about, like, ripping your Achilles.
Yeah.
Like, you can't walk, let alone run.
And that's
for 9 months. But here's the thing.
What about their defense? What about their play calling? What about the timeouts? 3 timeouts in the first quarter. What about all that stuff?
Let's break it down to its simplest form, Joe.
The coaching is pathetic.
The offensive line can't block.
Yep.
Thus, he has the least amount of time to throw a pass by next-gen stats in the NFL this year. They're the worst line in the NFL for him to drop back and throw.
Yep.
Not only that, they can't, even with Breece Hall, they're still not a good running team.
No, not at all. He's a receiver, basically. I mean,
he's great at it.
He's great at it, and that's great, but they have no running game. Like you said, their offensive line can't block. I mean, it is what it is.
For those people that remember, like me being a lifelong Packer fan, when the Packers finally started to turn the corner in the 80s, in the early 90s, it was because Favre used Edgar Bennett and Dorsey Levens out of the backfield for pass receivers. That's how they moved the ball.
Right.
They started first down and 10. He'd throw a swing pass for 4 or 5 yards.
Right.
And that's how they started their drives. That's what Rodgers is trying to do with Breece Hall. The problem is this. They can't sustain drives because they cannot run block and they cannot pass block. Thus, like at the end of the game, Joe, when they were trying to rally at the end of the game, the Patriots' defensive line was already a step into the Jets' backfield.
Yep.
That's a problem, Joe.
Yeah. And
I don't care if you can blame it on the defense.
The defense is playing horrible. You can play.
It's horrible.
Listen, there's plenty of blame to go around. There's plenty of blame. They have so many. It's like you're plugging one hole up, another hole in the dike. They got plenty of blame to go around, and it's just, to me, it's like, well, I don't even. The rest of the season to me is useless. I mean,
here's the last thing I'll say about this, and then we'll move on because you're right. It's useless.
It's useless.
All right.
Why even talk about it?
Here's the other thing I want to bring up real quick. The names on the back of the jersey are all-stars. Wilson, Adams, Rodgers, Paul, Gardner, Lawrence, Mosley, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But the front of the jersey says New York Jets. These guys, because of the coaching situation and the dysfunction of the team itself, are not a true team.
Right.
They are just all-stars.
Yeah.
Trying to
collecting a paycheck.
And it doesn't work.
No, not at all.
Like, say what you want. Look at the Patriots of the great years.
Yeah.
Tom Brady never had really anybody per se to work with, but yet they were always the best team.
Yeah. And
the
even
best players don't always make the best team.
Absolutely. And you look at the Steelers, a team with a great organization, organization.
Yep.
They are always going to be competitive no matter who is on the team. And like you said, the Patriots back in the day, obviously with Belichick, these teams somehow have a system in place that makes them have a chance to win every game. Simple as that. And the Jets don't have that. They don't have
Yeah,
it.
the Jets. We're moving on from the Jets.
Let's
and the
move on.
Giants because
It's not
they
worth
are
talking.
Here's a couple things from this past weekend.
Yeah, give me a
All,
couple of things
First of all, the officiating has to change.
Yeah, it's
They
bad.
have to figure out that the no call in the Vikings-Rams Thursday night game
There
was
you go.
atrocious.
Yep.
The one where Darnold got his face mat, like his
Head ripped.
like his head was almost removed from his shoulders.
Yep.
And that official was standing right behind the play. That's bad.
Yeah, I don't get that. What are they looking at? What are they looking at?
But here's the thing.
I don't get it.
Because you have $1 billion business,
Yeah,
you have to change the way you do business.
Yep.
Thus, you need to get a full-time referee up in the booth for every game.
I thought they had that.
Have the ability.
I thought they had the ability to do that. I thought that they had that.
But they're not doing it, though, Joe.
Well,
he has to be able to signal down to the official on the field and say, hold it, we're reviewing this play. Now, again, you know that I'm a big booster of the Canadian Football League.
Right.
If you ever watch those games on CBS Sportsnet, they're entertaining.
No, yeah, I've
One
watched.
of the things that they do is, let's say there's a pass interference call in a big part of the game. The coach that the team is getting, screwed. Like, somebody goes to him in his headset and he says,
he can challenge it.
They can challenge the play. Yep. They can challenge a pass interference play. So they go to their command center in Toronto. So if you win, obviously it's a penalty, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
If you lose, you not only lose your timeout, you lose a challenge.
Yeah.
So you can't, challenge.
Well,
there has to be a way.
They don't want to challenge. They don't want to challenge. They don't want to challenge pass interference because that takes the refs out of play. See, that's what I mean.
But
it's ridiculous.
Want to have an outcome, Joe,
I agree. I agree, but I think that
outcome, Joe, that's pure because you know what? It not only affects the game on the field, it affects the players.
It affects everybody.
The organization.
Yeah.
The people who bet, which now the NFL is in bed with, all the legalized games.
Yes.
You need, if you have the ability to get this right.
Yep.
Well, get it right.
That's what Bill Parcells always used to say. Just get the call right. He didn't care if they had replay. He didn't care if somebody's up in the booth. He didn't care if some guy is across the field. Just get the call right. And I am in favor of getting the call right. But anyway,
they got to figure it out. And here's another. How about the Hail Mary?
Oh God, that is unbelievable.
How crazy! But to start things off, how about the guy Tyreek Stevenson, the safety for the Bears?
Oh God!
Running down the sideline, taunting the fans while the play
is going on.
What's going on? So then he sprints literally. 30 yards and jumps up like Batman. He tries to knock the ball, and he knocks it backwards to the guy that catches the ball. How many things, for the Commanders fans, congratulations. They have a nice team, and they're only going to get better. This guy, Jaden Daniels, man.
He looks like a real deal.
Now, he's the real deal.
Yep, and Caleb Williams too. Caleb Williams too looks like he might be the real deal too. So I love Bo Nix even now too. He's starting to play well. I mean, I love all these new young quarterbacks. And
what is going through these players' minds? I guess that's my point.
Well, it's part of coaching.
How about the guy from the Colts, who the quarterback Richardson, who scrambles for 8 yards because he runs 40 yards to get 8 yards, and then he taps himself out.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about if you're on the offensive line, the guys that are in the huddle with him?
Yeah.
And and the guys on the defensive side of the ball, they're looking at this guy and what do you mean you want to come out?
Yeah, and he's not starting.
I have never seen that.
Yeah, and he's not starting this week because they're going to give Flacco the start.
I got news for you. This guy reminds me that he's the second coming of Jamarcus Russell. So you got a guy who virtually played one.
I hope he's not that bad.
But it's what do you do with this guy?
I don't know.
This guy, you know what? If you're the Colts, man, you have to have a serious
You got to figure it out.
discussion with this guy.
Yeah, you got to figure it
like
out.
for the rest of the year, he sits and watches.
Yeah, maybe.
Until my team is out of playoff contention,
Yeah.
he's watching from the side.
Yep. All right, so let's move on to the World Series. Unfortunately, for Yankee fans out there, I know we don't have a lot of Dodger fans out there that listen to this podcast, and I know we have a lot of Yankee fans. It has been brutal. I think I saw Aaron Judge's face on a milk carton yesterday, and it's like, can they at least put up a fight? Do you think they can do that, Z-Man?
Yeah, they're going to win tonight.
Oh, see,
you know what? Like I'm not attacking
I don't see it.
Like, okay, fine. And
Yeah.
But fan is short for fanatic, and people
Right.
only see what they want to see.
Well, yesterday would have been a game.
I would love to be on like the Fan in New York City,
Oh,
or
yeah.
like ESPN Radio with Michael Catt. This is the first thing I'm going to say. You know what? It gets old listening about how Aaron Judge struggled.
Yeah.
Because if anybody in their right mind remembers, for May, June, July, and almost half of August, if it wasn't for him, and
Yeah.
Soto also, but for him, we're not even talking about them.
Well,
today. We're not talking about
all right.
Yankees.
Let's.
We're not, like, look at.
I agree. Let's even
You
forget
can't dump
that.
on this guy and just say it's all
No,
his fault.
I'm not dumping on him. It's not.
This team is flawed, Joe.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a flawed team.
That's where I'm going. Look at the Dodgers. They got good pitching, and good defense, and the Yanks don't have that. They don't have the pitching and defense that the Dodgers pitchers have shown up, and their defense has been. Look at the play to get Stanton at the plate last night. Perfect throw. I mean, these guys play defense, and they got good pitching and time to hitting. Boom! You can't beat that. You can't beat that. Well, it's the players for starters. But listen, I'm not a big fan of what Boone's been doing with this whole pitching staff and pulling these guys after three and get the game one. Game one was horrific. You cannot take Cole out there. You got to let him go. Let him empty the tank. Who do you have behind him that's any better? And that's what drove me crazy. But listen, let's see what happens tonight. I don't see it happening. I see a sweep. And I know the Dodgers want to just end it. They don't want to give another breath to the Yanks. And that's the way they should play. So
Yankees win tonight, man.
All right, let's go, Yanks.
They got the best pitcher in Major League Baseball pitching tomorrow, Garrett Cole.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you something. It just takes a little bit.
All right.
They just need
Let's see
some kind of spark. But
I got to see it.
In the same vein, this is a flawed baseball team. And
very flawed.
They got you have to understand how they got through the American League in the teams that they beat in the American League. They weren't challenged by
Not
the
at all.
Astros.
American League is much weaker than the NL. Much weaker. The Mets at least put up a better fight against the Dodgers, man. Come on.
Because they play different styles of baseball in the American League and the National League.
Yep.
It's a different brand of baseball in both leagues. And the other thing is the bullpen. So let's talk about the bullpen. In the National League, the Dodgers have been going since August with bullpen games at least once or twice a week.
Yep.
They are experienced. They have a plan. When they run a bullpen game out, they have a plan.
And tonight's a bullpen game, correct? With the Dodgers, tonight's a bullpen game, right?
Yep. And they have a plan. They know exactly who they're going to run out, when they're going to run them out,
right?
And
when they're going to take them out.
If they run them out and it doesn't work, they have plans. Mark Pryor, the former Cubs great pitcher, is the pitching coach, and Dave Roberts is a great manager. I'm not a fan of him because I hate the Dodgers and I hate the Red Sox even more.
You got it.
But
you got it.
Cannot take away how good a manager this guy is, and you can't argue with the fact that when the Dodgers run Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Hernandez, Teoscar Hernandez, and Muncy out 1 through 5, dude, you go find me 5 better hitters
Yeah, no,
in Major
absolutely.
League Baseball this year.
Yeah.
Find me 5 better hitters than that. That's
yeah, you don't
so
have it.
underrated
Yeah.
that these guys. And so everybody's like, Freddie Freeman, he's having a series of like, this guy's an all-star.
Yeah.
He's already won
MVP.
a World Series.
I think
Mookie Betts is an MVP.
MVP.
Freeman's an
These guys are
MVP. Otani's going to
MVPs.
be an MVP again this
Yeah.
year. This is a good team, man.
Yeah, it's a very good team.
I was reading New York Post Plus. I subscribe to that now. And Joel Sherman, who by
I
far
like Joel Sherman.
is one of the best baseball writers in America.
He's a great
This guy
baseball
is really
writer.
good.
Yeah.
We're so lucky to have him in the Northeast and on the MLB network.
With the Yanks and the Mets, too, yeah.
Yes, he talked about 2 deals that happened at the deadline that are still going under the radar that have really significantly affected this season. The first deal was the Dodgers getting Tommy Edman in a 3-team deal. They got Tommy Edman from the Cardinals. The Yankees were in on him. They wanted him in the worst way. But the Dodgers have a better farm system and were able to make the deal. The second deal was for Michael Kopech from the White Sox. Again, the Yankees chased him vehemently. They wanted him from the White Sox. The Dodgers have a better farm system and were able to secure him. These 2 guys in the National League Championship Series and the World Series have been showing why the Dodgers are literally smarter than the Yankees in the front office now.
And they got bigger wallets. The Yanks all of a sudden are like, well, this and that, or we can't give this up or give that up. You got to win a World Series. Let's face it. It's all about winning a World Series for the Yankees. It's not having a great season, and it's not $1 billion income year where you're selling out every game. No, nobody cares. What they care about is winning World Series, and it's just become an issue of dollars and cents and analytics, and I can't take it.
I agree. And you know what? We want to hear from you out there. Off the chest. 84 at yahoo.com. Please, the people that listen to us, you are our lifeline. We love to hear from you.
Yes.
I don't care what you talk about. Send us something and we'll read it. We actually got one email that got to us last week, Joe, and it was basically from Nick. And I think Nick is one of the guys from up here.
I was going to say, not my son.
No, I don't think it was your son, because I don't think your son's going to say this.
Go ahead.
He says, in light of having 45 to 50 combined Miller Lite pints with the legendary Z-Man on Sunday, truth be told, you could never trust a Packer fan. The Jets haven't been the same since week 1 when they had 0 chance against the 49ers. Their soul was crushed, and they should have known then that Salah can't compete against his own team. Yeah. He's the wrong guy. And he also goes on, and he's like, in baseball season, like talking about the Mets, like I think one of the shortcomings in the Mets, he talked about Adam Ottavino, who used to be a Yankee,
right?
Who the Mets basically shelved. He never saw the field.
He kind of lost it.
Yep, and now he's like, but again, these are things that go on behind the scenes with these teams.
Yeah.
And you know what? When it gets to this point in the season, it's something that has to be reckoned with, and the Yankees can't do it. They don't have any relievers, Joe, that can miss bats.
Yep.
They don't have any power relievers. But again, thanks a lot for the email, Nick.
Yes.
Again, off the chest 84 at yahoo.com.
And by the way, I just want to mention real quick, Jake, fortunately, he's not here, but he's got a scrimmage tonight with the J-Woo Hoop team, so they got the season starting up soon, and we want to thank everybody who donated to the J-Woo fundraiser, and also all the people that donated to Red Cross for the poor people out in Western North Carolina and Tennessee and Virginia and Florida that got hammered by Helene, and Georgia. All these people, thank goodness for the warm hearts.
RedCross.org, people.
Yes, Red Cross. And you know what? RedCross.org is a great organization. They are there every time, no matter what. And if you were looking for someplace to donate, they are a great organization.
Especially in this holiday season. And you know what else, Joe?
Yes, sir.
At this time of the show, it's a chance for people to make money so they
Let's
can
go.
donate. You
Let's
know
go.
why? We're going to take our run to the end zone.
Run to the
Sponsored
end
by
zone, baby. Let's
in
go.
Mechanicville, 227 Park Avenue, Mechanicville. Scott Rinaldi, Larry Grayson, they're gracious with their time, and they have great specials Monday through Sunday. So get down there and support them, the End Zone Restaurant.
And
227 Park Avenue, Mechanicsville. Hey, so
and tell them that you heard us, that you heard about their bar from us, from listening
yes,
to
that
Off
you
the
heard
Chest.
about it on Off the Chest podcast, and
Yes,
you'd
sir.
like to buy G-Man a pint of Miller Lite when you see him.
Yes, sir. All right. So what do you got for the picks this week?
All right. So last week we went 2-2. We went 0-2 in the colleges. We went 2-0 in the pros, including that Hail Mary, because we were on the right side of the Commanders.
Yes.
So we'll take it. So we're up to 10-4, Joe. I'm challenging a lot of big shots.
You got it, Z-Man. You got it going, baby. Let's go. What do we got this week?
Joe. I'm going to give 3 NFLs and 3 college plays. So I'm just going to rifle them off. So get your pens and pieces of paper together. All right. So in the NFL, my first pick is going to be the Dolphins, +6 at the Bills. I think Tua Tagovailoa is, even though they got beat at the gun by the Cardinals this week, I think he showed enough where this team is going to get a spark. And I think the Bills winning a big game at Seattle, now flying coast to coast back and playing Sunday afternoon, give me the Dolphins +6.
Okay.
Give me the Bengals -7 against the Raiders. I think the Raiders did everything they could at home to try to beat the Chiefs in the divisional game. It's a big rival. Now they're on the road this week to Cincinnati. I'll take the Bengals all day -7. And I'll take my surprise team to watch right now in the second half of the NFL season. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles at home.
Yeah, they're starting to get it going. Yep.
Yeah. They're running the ball so efficiently, and they're throwing the ball less, which gives their defense more time to rest, and they're playing better. So
And
I
Saquon.
like the Eagles -7. Yeah,
Saquon.
He's a beast.
He's definitely on a mission.
All right, so those are our three.
Those are the
NFL
3
games.
pros. What do we got for college?
All right, we're going to go all around the board in college. We're going to take the University of Memphis -7 at the University of Texas, San Antonio. That's a Conference USA game. We're going to take a team that burned us 2 weeks ago. Now we're going to come back and try to ride them. We're going to take SMU -7 at home against Pittsburgh in a battle of 2 top 20 teams. This game is significant because one group of 5 teams will make the College Bowl. And both of these guys are going to have to, they're going to, whoever wins this game is going to be in the driver's seat to maybe get a backdoor, like a 10, 11 seed in this tournament.
Okay.
So this is going to be a big game. This is an ACC ESPN game on Saturday night. So we're going to take SMU at home -7. And in the big one, it's the biggest cocktail party in America. It's Georgia-Florida weekend.
Nice.
We're going to side with Florida, Joe.
Uh-oh.
We're going to take 17. We're going to
Okay.
take the number because, you know what? They're a road dog in the SEC. We talked about this last week. It's a neutral field. Give me 17. We'll sit back and we'll watch.
All right.
So recap real quick. University of Memphis, the Florida Gators, and the SMU Mustangs in college football. And in the pros, we've got the Miami Dolphins, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Awesome.
That's our run to the end zone, sponsored by the End Zone Restaurant in Mechanical 227 Park Avenue.
You got it.
Thank you all.
Thank you, End
good
Zone.
luck.
And by the way, I want to give a shout out to Army, the cadets of West Point. Army undefeated. They are still undefeated. Yep, they're playing Air Force this weekend. I think they're 21-point favorite.
22.
But
I actually had that circled, and I was going to use it. But I'm going to tell you something. When you get the Army versus the Navy,
yes, that's going to be a great game.
Yeah, those games are great games, man.
Yep.
These guys play for a lot more than just wins and losses.
No, you want to talk about guys who play hard. Those teams, they play hard. Air Force will give Army all they can handle. I almost want to say, you know what? You take Air Force with the points, but I'm going with Army, and I think Army is just they got something going this year, and I can't wait to the Army Navy game. But Army. By the way,
to the list, Joe.
Yep. By the way,
We're
Army
add Army into our picks, so now we give you a 7-pack.
Yep.
So
Army's playing
that 6-pack, and you want that one last one before you go home. It's Army minus 22 against the Air Force. That's Joe Cap bringing it hard.
And by the way, I found out Army's playing Notre Dame at Yankee Stadium this year. I might have to go to that game.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yankee Stadium is a great place to watch football, believe it or not. I saw a bunch of games there.
In the area. Have you been to football games?
Yes, I've been to a bunch of the Pinstripe Bowls.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I went to Lehigh Lafayette, which was the 150th anniversary of the game. It's awesome. Yankee Stadium is awesome for football because in the second level, the sight lines are wide open. You could see the entire field. So you can go grab a beer, grab something to eat, hang out in that it's like the field level, the top field level area. It is beautiful. You can see the whole field. You don't even have to sit in your seat. You just hang out up there.
Let me ask you a question, Joe. Is it in our budget to watch a football game?
Sure.
Absolutely. We can do a podcast from up there?
Absolutely. We could at least go to the game and we can give them give a good rundown of it at least. But I'm thinking about going up for the game. I love watching football at Yankee Stadium. It really is awesome.
Wow, that's great. I never knew that, Joe.
Yeah?
I've never been to a football game at Yankee Stadium.
If you haven't been, go. It's just, just being in Yankee Stadium to begin with. And then there's football going on in Yankee Stadium. That brings back a lot of, the old Giant games and stuff like that. I was obviously too young. We're both too young to remember going to a Giant game at Yankee Stadium. But I do remember when the Giants moved from Yankee Stadium to the Meadowlands. It wasn't that long ago. It was 74, 75 when they built that stadium, but that was the home of the Giants. I mean, for all those years.
That's awesome, dude. That's a great story. You know what? I may ask our executive producer, Maurice Lapine, for like a reimbursement fund to go to a football game with you. It's
Syracuse plays every once in a while too, because the
Pinstripe Bowl.
Yeah,
right?
the Pinstripe Bowl. So they, because they draw a nice crowd there. So that could be another time when Syracuse is there. You got to keep an eye on it. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, we will. So what else you got in our wrap around as we head around third?
Well, it's tonight. I'm going to put on the Yankee game. I'm going to watch a little bit of the Rangers because the Rangers are on ESPN.
Boy, how hot are they?
They are hot, but they did lose to Florida the other night. So Florida's Florida.
They're off to their best start on the road.
Yep. And they, and I'm loving the Rangers. The Knicks laid an egg last night. They blew it against the Cavs. Donovan Mitchell once again took care of business.
Once we get rid of baseball and we, probably next week or whatever, we'll spend more time on the Knicks because I know that you have interest. Tell our listeners what kind of interest you have in the Knicks.
Well, Matt Ryan just signed today with the Knicks. He went to, if people listening out there played basketball at Iona Prep with my son, him and Ty Jerome, they were the three guys who kind of went through that whole, a Catholic League back in 2016, I think it was. But so Matt Ryan, I know my son is going to be, bugging him for tickets, and he's going to be heading down and hanging out with Matt. And it's great. It's great that Matt's home, and I know his mom will be at the game, his little brother, I'm sure, his sister. They'll be all going to the games. So it's nice to see the local kid.
Another possible podcast, Joe.
Yeah, I have to see if I can grab him one that we'll get him on the show. I'll have to see if I can.
Yeah, that would be. Even if you just pre-record.
That
would be great.
Absolutely. But anyway, so that's pretty much what we got so far today. We talked about a couple of things. Obviously, my trip to Italy, which I don't want to bore you with, but
no, you're just missing that, aren't you, Joe?
Yeah, I'm missing it was such a short trip, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I can go back soon. But
is that your favorite place you've ever traveled to?
You know what? I don't know if it's really my favorite place, but it's like a second home to me kind of thing. And it's with my family, obviously. I mean, the place I went to for the first time, Lake Como, and, Chicotera, those cities and those little towns. It's to me, it's very touristy, and that's okay. It's beautiful and all that. But when I went back with my family and spent time with my aunt and uncle and my cousins, and we all were just sitting around the big table and talking about stuff, and it was really nice. And like I said, I can't wait to get back. But anyway, I don't want to bore you with that notion. But Z-Man, anything before we leave?
I just, once again, I'd like to just remind our listeners that we love to hear from you. Off the chest 84 at yahoo.com. Whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Like Joe Cap are going to have a battle next week about what candy bar for Halloween is better. Cap, do you have a Halloween costume? Do you go to parties?
No. Those days are long over, man. I just wait by the door for the kids, and that's it, man, and watch football. You know what I do? Here we go. Everybody listening. What you want to do on Halloween night is watch Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm telling you, I watch it every Halloween.
Hey, really?
Yes.
How do you watch it?
I go find it. It's on Prime. It's Netflix. Just look around, and you'll find it. Rocky Horror Picture Show. To me, that is such a great movie to watch on Halloween. I mean, there's a lot of good horror movies, too, but to me, that's like
you know what I watch on Halloween, Joe?
What?
The Warriors.
The Warriors?
Yeah, the Warriors.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's not a bad one on Halloween. Okay.
The Warriors.
By the way, that was filmed in Van Cortlandt Park, which is in the Bronx. Filmed in Van Cortlandt Park. I guess Central Park and Van Cortlandt Park.
Unfortunately, they lost a member of the cast this week. Did you see that?
No, I did not see that.
Cochise.
Oh, here's another movie that just came to my mind. Young Frankenstein, another classic. And unfortunately, today, Terry Garr passed away at 79. Oh, man.
Still young.
What a sweetheart. And she was great in that movie. And that is another classic. Young Frankenstein, Warriors, and Rocky Horror Picture Show. Watch them all.
Well, there we go. So, when we come back on the other side of Halloween next week, hopefully it's going to be a trick on the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yes.
Don't forget, people, redcross.org. We need your help. We're coming up on the election next Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah.
Vote. Our people
get the vote out. Get the vote out.
Numbers. Get out there and vote. Yep. Get to the redcross.org and help our people that need your help.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Z-Man. Another good time. We'll see you guys next week. We should be back next week, and God willing, and we will talk to you. And we'll get into all the stuff, the World Series, the football, and everything else. Knicks, Rangers, basketball is going to be coming around, so we're going to be. We'll have a lot to talk about. Thanks for all your listeners out there, and definitely send us an email just to let us know how we're doing. And even if you think we suck, that's what we want to hear. Hey, you guys suck. Whatever you want to say. All right?
All right, Joe Cap.
All right, Z-Man. Until next time.